Hello and welcome to the Little Minds Big Ideas podcast with the Early Years Network. Now, if you joined us on season 1, we probably look a little bit different if you are watching us on YouTube. We have upgraded our podcast set. It's a little bit more comfy, a bit more
swanky.
Yeah, a bit more relaxed.
Still missing some artwork.
Yeah, we'll get
some other bits and pieces. Someone's got a slightly strange microphone situation going on. This is really bad for audio listeners, isn't it, I guess?
Yeah.
Describing the visuals.
It's great radio. So yeah, we are in a slightly different set. The Early Years Network itself has had a bit of an upgrade, which is very nice. And you're probably wondering who I am joined with. And we have decided to take the podcast in a little bit of a different direction this time around. So every single Friday, myself and Ben, who, if you don't know, he is all over our social media pages. He's all over the Early Years Network platform itself. And he is the creator, owner, director, whatever you want to call yourself, of the Early Years Network. So we have decided that every single Friday, we will be bringing you a short 20, 30-minute podcast based around something in early years, whether that be something related to us at the Early Years Network or a hot topic in early years itself. And that is what we are going to bring you every single Friday. And then in the new year, we would like to also have some special guest appearances like we did for season 1.
And they'll be like little bonus episodes, won't they?
They will, yeah. So you'll still get your weekly episode with myself and Ben, but you will also get a little bonus episode with some fantastic guests too. So to kick off with our first podcast episode in our brand new studio.
FYI, what are we calling this? So when I actually submit it, is this season 2? Or are we just going to go weekly? Or what are we thinking? Just weekly now?
Weekly, I think.
Weekly. So we're just going to call it the weekly show.
The weekly show.
Cool. That's got a nice ring to it.
Early Years Network.
The weekly. I'm sure no one's got the weekly show, so I think we'll be fine with that. That's
What's going to happen to Little Minds Big Ideas?
Well, no, we'll call that. No, it'll be Little Minds Big Ideas weekly show.
Weekly show.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fancy
Stuff. I'm going up. So anyway, to kick us off in our brand new studio, we've had a very exciting week here at the Early Years Network.
We have, yes.
It's been a big one.
It's been a hectic one.
Yeah, that it has. The launch of the Early Years Network platform was on Sunday, the 29th of October. And we released into the world the project that we have been working on for
years.
What feels like forever. And it's finally been released. So how do you feel about it all?
Relieved.
Yeah.
Probably relieved at first. I don't know. It feels like 2 different iterations, almost like the build almost felt like we're working away in secret. And then, do you know what I mean? Like bunkered down, working away in secret. Obviously, we were active on socials, doing podcasts and bits and pieces, just to try and help people get to know us a bit more. But at the same time...
We are real people.
It was, because so often you see training websites and things pop up and they're not real people. There's no company behind it. There is a company behind it, but it almost just feels like a bit of a cash grab. So early on, what we tried to do was present ourselves as actually being, look, we are genuine, real people, and build up a little bit of a reputation and a little bit of, trust almost. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And now it's a case of, okay, the build, it's not 100% finished. There's still jobs to be done and bits and pieces to be done, but it's launched and it is 90-odd
in the work.
It's 90-odd% complete. Now it's a case of, okay, we're here and showing off what we're all about and the product that we've got and trying to raise awareness and to get as many eyeballs on what we're doing, because that's really the mission now, is to try and convey to people what the Early Years Network's all about and the benefits the platform can bring people, both individually and, of course, as settings, companies, whatever it might be.
So if people haven't seen us on social media, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn. I think that's it.
TikTok?
We're on TikTok.
You just created a new TikTok.
I have just created a new TikTok where I do sort of behind the scenes and a little bit more into who I am and what I do, my life really. We can put that in the description as well.
Yep.
So you can follow along with those social medias. But if you don't know what the Early Years Network is, can you describe it in 3 sentences?
3 sentences, That's very specific.
So online training and development platform for early years.
Is that a sentence? That's a sentence.
That's my first sentence.
3 sentences.
Sentence
So
number
random.
2 is it's easy, affordable, and accessible learning and development.
It is, yeah.
Training and development.
2, okay.
Sentence number 2. And sentence number 3 is it's really, really good.
Is that a sentence?
Yeah, it's my third sentence.
Okay.
It's really, really good.
Smashed it there.
What would your sentences be?
I don't think I can top that. It would probably be something along the lines of the Early Years Network built for parents, practitioners, management, anybody who works with early years children.
Number
That's
1.
Rubbish stuff.
That's what it's for, yeah.
Oh my God, I've actually gone completely blank.
So I won the 3
You did win
sentences.
this.
So we basically have created an online training and development platform for anybody who's working with children or has children of the age of early years.
Yeah.
And everything on the platform is to help you at work, to help you at home, to help you feel like you've got more knowledge to take on the day-to-day, to feel like you understand a little bit more about your job and what you do. And it's basically there to help.
I mean, realistically, when we built it, we looked at 4 people. We envisaged 4 people.
Categories of people, yeah.
But just 4 people. So you've got the trainee who's new to the industry and is either learning the ropes in work or is also qualifying, whether that be in or out of practice.
Yep.
So the trainee, let's call them. We then had person number 2, who was the qualified experienced practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
Person number 3, which is your leadership management team. And person number 4 was your parents. Yep. So that is realistically, when we talk about the OS network, how I, in my head, break it down to the different segments.
Yeah.
So if you're a manager, leadership, and you've got a team of people, whether you're just one nursery or whether you've got, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever it might be, this is a great opportunity to get hold of something that will deliver training, learning, education, ideas, induction, however you want to utilize it for your teams. So without having to have the cost of bringing people in for training, which is incredibly costly, sending people away on courses. And if you employ 80 people, the cost of that's ginormous. Or trying to do in-house training yourselves and then having to give up your evenings, weekends, whatever it might be. I mean, feasibly,
We've done that for you.
Yeah. Feasibly, no one can just close a nursery up.
No.
You'll have some rather upset parents. And I know I always specifically talk about nurseries in that case. You've also got childminders. Being a childminder can be an incredibly lonely
very
workplace.
Intense, yeah.
Very intense, and not lonely because obviously surrounded by children, but you don't have as much of that adult to adult interaction talking about development, where do you want to go? How can you improve your practice? You just don't get the opportunity as much. Same with nannies. So for us to be able to deliver a platform then that gives you that interaction, gives you that training, gives you that development focus, and equally then for the nursery managers and the setting leaders, you've got that ability to have a training department wing of your business for less than £4.99 per person. Do you know what I mean? And to employ somebody to carry out training within your company would cost far more than what we're delivering it for.
So I guess that was going to be sort of where we went next, is this going to cost people an arm and a leg to get hold of? And the straight answer is
no. I genuinely don't think you can do it any more affordably, because it's £4.99 per person. The more licenses, if you buy a corporate account, the more licenses you have, i.e. the more people you can send logins to, the more and more you have of those, the lower that value becomes. So I think by the time you get to like 100 users, it's almost down to like £3 a head or something.
Yeah.
So it becomes more affordable with scale. But even that in itself, it's not a costly exercise. We're not trying to rinse people for every user. At the end of the day, we want people to sign up, be able to afford it, and stay with us and be on a learning journey with us throughout time. It's not a case of, right, we sign them up for a month, make as much money over them as possible, and then they leave. There's no benefit for anyone in there, because 1, you've not got then that continuous learning, which is what this product's all about. 2, we don't benefit. Like, no one wins in those scenarios.
No, I think it's understanding that what you get when you sign up on that day is not what your platform will look like within the next month or 2, because we will constantly be bringing out every month new training videos, new opportunities for learning, new blog posts. There'll be more podcasts to listen to. There's just more being pumped into the early years network week on week, month on month, that actually for £4.99 for the entire month, you fill your boots. Like every month you're going to get something new for your £4.99.
Yeah. And obviously we work in the industry. We know what is needed. We know what's new.
Yeah.
We know which topic areas are most being debated. We know which, well, I don't want to say problems in the industry, but we know what's arising. You know, when we came out of lockdown, a lot of children struggled socially, and we could have adapted to that and put out things to support that. Who knows what's going to happen the next year, the year after that, the year after that. But what we'll always be able to do is adapt our offering and what the platform has on it in order to cope with what is currently going on in the industry and the demands of society, I guess, as a whole.
Yeah.
And we'll always look to push the boundaries of what we can do. You know, the more people who subscribe, the more people that get on board, the more that we then have the ability to do more.
Yeah.
You know, the more we can push production, the more we can get involved with other nurseries, get on site more and do more physically. I spoke on the Q&A the other day about doing in-person training sessions.
That would be something we'd love to do.
Again, the bigger we grow our community, the more ability then we have to do in-person things and put events on and support early years in a physical way as much as online.
And if you, and I don't know why you wouldn't want to, but if you don't want to listen to myself and Ben constantly, we are not the only faces and voices on the Early Years Network. We have Lucy and Olivia, who also deliver the training classes for you on the network. And then we also have our courses, which are people who do not work with us directly at the Early Years Network, but have their own specialities, who have come on board to create bespoke courses.
At the moment, we have the brilliant Louise, Molly and Ben Kingston-Hughes live on the site.
We do. So their courses are there available. So there is a real mixture of the way people deliver training. There's a real mixture of knowledge. And lots of varieties, not just myself and Ben badgering on at you.
The nice thing is we all have our uniqueness in the sense of we're all very different personalities. Like I really enjoy the science side of it. I enjoy the science and I enjoy the theoretical side of looking at children's development and what we can do then to facilitate brain growth and healthy children the best we can. We've got yourself obviously very experienced in early years. You enjoy the element of interactions with children, learning through play, all of that kind of side of things, and as well as a lot of the management side of things because of your background in HR. We then also have Liv, who's very much amateur dramatics, very good at storytelling, very good at that side of things. And then we have Lucy, who I think she relates really well to the trainees because she's been there herself very recently. I think she relates really well to as well people new to the industry or coming up in the industry because she sort of has that, in her videos, she has that approach of mixing.
I understand it.
And mixing theoretical stuff that I talk a lot, but also bringing it back really into day to day. You know, when you look at her top 5 videos when she's talking about Montessori, Reggio Emilia, it's very apparent how she's taken her understanding of the approach and then mixed it into, right, this is actually practically really easy ways to embed ideas from this approach into our activities and our day-to-day elements.
And like I said, we've all got different personalities and different ways of doing it. And I think it's a perfect mix of whoever the learner is and however you want to learn and listen to different people. There is something on there for everyone to get their teeth stuck into. Yeah,
because if you're a level 6 and you've been in early years for years and years and years, if you head over to the site, there is still so much you can learn. I don't think anybody who's ever completed early years. And
we're all still learning new all the time.
And fundamentally, our understanding of the child's brain is altering all the time. The understanding of how we do things. You know, you look at the level 3 and what you actually learn in the level 3, and so much of it is devoted to theorists in the 1920s, 1930s, which is great. You know, they had a lot of good points and a lot of practice from guys like Vygotsky and Montessori, Reggio Emilia. It's still so apparent that it's important stuff. But equally, our understanding of the brain has shifted massively in the last 20 years alone. So I think it's really important that we are constantly on top of altering our practice and improving what we're doing based upon our understanding of children at this moment in time, not the 1920s.
Yeah, I think that's what we're trying to do, isn't it? We want to give people up-to-date training and development opportunities that are going to help them now with the children that are in their care now, and how we get the most out of them and how we can make those first 5 years really, really good for those children. Because essentially, everyone in the early years is laying the foundation for the rest of these children's lives. And sometimes I don't think that is at the forefront of what everybody does. And we want to empower the workforce in early years to think, no, what I do is bloody important. Like, what I'm doing is shaping a child's future, and the information that we provide on the Early Years Network is going to help you understand that and stand up a little bit and say, no, I am working on actually developing a child's brain, and how I interact with them is going to teach them all these different skills and everything that's on there. So I think it's something that we're really trying to push.
I think fundamentally there's a gap in between the qualification level. Let's specifically think about the level 3. There's a gap between the level 3 and then what you see on Pinterest and Instagram and social media in terms of everything being, I'm going to pick on everything being wooden, and that whole aesthetical approach towards what an early years setting looks like. Making everything wooden because you've seen a photograph and it looks really good, and that's what looks really appeasing, and that's sort of the on-trend thing. Maybe you see it less now, but let's go back 2 or 3 years when it was really on trend and everyone was throwing everything plastic out of the entire building. I think what we want to try and do is deliver the why behind the actions rather than just end goal of what we want to do. So if we can inform practitioners on theoretical approaches, an understanding of how the child's brain works and what interactions work best with them, how we support their emotional well-being in order to develop self-regulation, like all of these things, if we can give you the bigger picture, you can then go and do the little things in terms of aesthetics and what your environment looks like, and we'll help you along the way. But we're delivering that bigger learning, so you have the why behind you to then go and make your decisions based upon the unique children that you have in your room, rather than doing it the other way around and saying, this is what the end goal should look like, go make it look like this. And then you've done it, and then someone asks, well, why have you done that? You go, I think it's because, rather than, well, I know this is exactly fundamentally why I've done it, because of this, 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 and this.
And that's really key as well. It's that we're not trying to tell you how to educate the children in your care. We're trying to give you that background and that knowledge so that you can educate the children in your care.
I'd love to be able to give someone a toolkit that they can then look at this group of children that they have, and it's different to the one they had last year, and they go, right, I'm actually going to start using principles of Montessori and Reggio Emilia rather than so much this, rather than Frisgozzi, for example.
Yeah.
Because actually these children are actually really intelligent and they're getting it, so they don't need me as much to be interacting with them to help shape them in that way. But they need principles of Montessori, let's say, because they've got no ability and discipline in terms of putting things away, et cetera, et cetera. And when they go to school, it's just going to be chaotic. Or, I don't know, it's a really bad example, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's giving practitioners that toolkit, that arsenal behind them to be able to do more, if that what I mean, rather than just looking at Pinterest and thinking, oh, that looks really nice and aesthetic.
That's what I want to do.
I'm going to copy that because it's nice.
I think in a nutshell, what we're trying to say is the Early Years Network is here to be that. We always say your environment's your third teacher, and the Early Years Network can be fourth teacher. Yeah. We can be the teachers that help you as professionals to feel more well-rounded and ready to help these individual children grow and develop, because we'll give you the tools to, like you've said, adapt your practice based on the children, not the other way around. Would you say?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of been us for the past couple of years, trying to create something that was going to be meaningful for the early years industry, and I genuinely hand on heart think we have created that.
Yeah, I think because we come from a real place of employing 70 to 80 people who work in early years, and it's a constant dilemma of how do we give everyone more, like more, because our time is limited, so we can't go around talking to every 80 people every single day, delivering information and training sessions. Equally, trying to find the time to do it is near on impossible. And so that's really what's driven the Early Years Network is how can we, in a really efficient and succinct manner, provide our teams with the real best training opportunities and the best learning. Because how can we have expectations of them doing something if we've not taught them that in the first place, or we've not given them the opportunity to expand their knowledge? How can you just assume, if you're someone coming new into the industry or come from another setting, that every setting is incredibly different depending on the people who are managing it and the leaders within that setting. You know, someone could have 10 years experience within a setting and then they come to yours and you think, crikey, we do things
totally different,
way different to that. It's not saying one way is right or wrong. Obviously, there's discrepancies where you could say, I think that's right, that's wrong. But in general, there's no black and white way of doing things if it works for those specific children. So for us, it comes from a real place of how we want to help people within the industry. And then we thought at one point, well, why not make this industry wide? Why are we just making something for our teams? Let's try and help everyone who are in the same boat effectively, because we are, as the early years is, we're all in it together.
We are the little rowing boat in the big ocean of ships, I feel sometimes. So everyone on board this little sailboat needs to work together.
Sometimes it feels more like a raft, doesn't it, than a sailboat. A door. What did they have in the Titanic? What was
it? A door.
It was a door, wasn't it?
There was only room for one, so...
It wasn't. She could have moved over.
So we'll make room for everybody. Yeah, so that is where we're at. It's launched, it's live.
Go check it out.
All over our socials. www.theearlyyearsnetwork.co.uk is where you will find us. Have a look, sign up.
Let us know what you think as well. We're just drop into the DMs of Instagram, whatever it may be. We view it all, we see it all. So
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Just pop it up, and I'm sure we'll pick it up. And if you have anything you want to see on it, or you're not sure, you can jump over to the Ears Network, and you can get a trial account, I guess. Free trial. And that gives you the ability to access any class you want, and you'll be able to access all of the class, and you can check out and see what you think. And in terms of resources on the website, we are currently in the process of populating them. They're not actually on the site yet, but give us a few more weeks because we prioritise getting the videos up and getting the website live. So all the resources will follow. So there'll be really useful information and things you can use every day in terms of like documents, handouts, all of that good jazz.
Things, yeah.
So that'll all be populated in the coming weeks onto the majority of classes. And go check out the courses, especially, well, I say especially, I was about to say all three of them. Just go check out the courses. There's something really unique about each one of them, with Ben dealing with play, Louise deals with nutrition, which again is something that's not spoken enough about in early years. It's a real bedrock of everything we do. And then Molly deals with emotional intelligence really well. So it's a good, well-rounded first three, I think, to have on the site.
Definitely. All very different and all so interesting. So
yeah, absolutely well worth it.
So yeah, I think you don't need to listen to us badger on anymore about it. We've chewed your ears off.
Oh, if that's not convinced you, then
we're out, as is. But yeah, it's something that we are really, really proud of here at the Early Years Network, and we are really excited to share it with everybody. So please do check it out. And let us know what you think.
What are we going to be talking about next week?
I don't know yet.
I'll have to think about it.
If there's any ideas on what you want to hear us chat about next week, the Little Minds Big Ideas podcast Instagram account is, like I say, drop in the DMs and let us know what you want to hear.
Let's talk about first aid.
Oh,
that's a big one at the moment, isn't it?
Well, it is. Okay, we won't get into it now because otherwise we'll go on again. But maybe next week we can talk about first aid. Thanks. I was going to say thanks for joining me, but now you're kind of like my co-host.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
I've sort of just muscled in on your podcast, haven't I?
Yeah, you've taken over. It's fine.
Season 1 looked really fun. I just wanted to be part of it.
You're not taking on the guests.
I don't know. Tell me who the guest is.
No, they're mine. All of them. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this first weekly episode. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you will check out the Early Years Network.
They won't be a sales pitch every week, I promise.
No, it won't be. This is it now until next month when we launch new content.
There might be occasional plug, but
no, we won't. We won't plug your ears and talk about it every single week, but it is something we're really proud of. So we just wanted to shout about it one more time in the first week of it going live. Woo, woo. Right, we will leave you to the rest of your day, whatever that might look like for you. And hopefully we will see you next Friday. Bye.
Bye.